This is the Fox 25 News at 9.
Good evening. It was another deadline week for lawmakers as bills had to make it out of committees for the final time in order to be heard on the floor. But one issue has taken center stage. Fox 25's Capitol reporter Paige Taylor joins us live in the studio to explain. Paige?
David, proposed social studies standards for kindergarten through 12th grade students in Oklahoma are currently at the forefront as lawmakers have until May 1st to take action if they are going to reject the standards. Democrats in both chambers filed joint resolutions to reject the standards in late March, but those resolutions have not been heard on the floor yet. Democrats held a press conference on Wednesday calling on their Republican colleagues to hear one of their resolutions or file their own. On Thursday, Republican Senator Adam Pugh filed Senate Joint Resolution 20 to disapprove the standards. Pugh wrote that questions exist regarding the subject matter standard adoption process. This is also something Governor Stitt expressed concern over this week.
The thing that concerned me was the mechanics, how it was done. So it's been showed to me from the board members that they were emailed a copy of those standards, but then there was a different standard that was sitting on the desk that they actually voted on.
The legislature would have to get a resolution through each chamber before May 1st. Otherwise, the standards take effect for the next 6 years. We'll bring you the latest from the state capitol this week on air and online at okcfox.com. Reporting live in studio, Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
All right, spring is officially here with this humidity. Boy, we got dew point temperatures as we head into this Sunday night between 65 and 70 degrees. The juice is loose, and we know when it gets humid, sometimes it gets stormy. We've already had storms this weekend. Look at the rainfall totals across the state over the last 4 days. There's been severe flooding in the Lawton area where we've seen 5 to 6 inches of rain. Here in OKC, we are now the second wettest April on record at Will Rogers. If we get another inch or two, we could be flirting with the all-time wettest April on record right here in OKC. And that might well happen. If you look at these rain chances, we're going to get rain, especially from the Monday night through Wednesday time frame. There'll be rounds of thunderstorms. Some of them could bring severe weather. Speaking of which, over the last 48 hours, we've had flooding in the OKC metro. There was a tornado over the weekend here down near Durant and near Fort Smith. They had severe wind also in McCurtain County. So it's a typical spring weekend here. We're getting our storms. Now, your Monday and Monday night severe weather outlook, we've got that slight risk of wind and hail, flash flooding with an outside chance of a tornado. The tornado threat is going to be much higher tomorrow the farther north you go from Oklahoma. We'll get to that in a minute. First of all, out the door on your Monday morning, it's going to be mild, muggy. Temps will be near 70, also rather windy too. Hold on to your hats. We got the details for your work week coming up.
Thank you, Kevin. We have new details tonight about a body that was found in Lake Eufaula this weekend. Troopers from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol's Marine Enforcement Division recovered the body of a person who drowned in Lake Eufaula. According to reports, on Friday, a male jumped from a boat but struggled to swim before disappearing underwater. Members of the OHP dive team say they recovered the body in an area that was 11 feet deep Saturday. And make sure you have your real ID. If not, you could face issues when it comes to traveling in and out of the United States. Here's what you need to know. TSA will require real IDs for boarding planes starting May 7th. Appointments to get a real ID are available now. You can get yours at any Service Oklahoma location. The ID takes around 10 days to come in the mail, and Service Oklahoma says they have given out over 2 million real IDs to Oklahomans. We're currently sitting at a compliance rate of around 44%. You can visit our website right now at okcfox.com for more details. Today, the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon took place. After being pushed back because of yesterday's strong storms, the marathon was able to finally start. We got the latest on the event from Fox 25 photographer Kelly Clayton.
The Run to Remember brings us together to honor those who were killed, those who survived, and those changed forever on April 19th, 1995.
This is one of the best days of the year here in Oklahoma City, if not the best, and it helps ensure that we have followed that dark day in 1995 with 30 years of light. And of course, the marathon is celebrating its 25th year today, and It's the biggest crowd we've ever had as terms of registrations.
You are cheered by the spirits of those who their lives were cut short. And for my own story myself, as you could see, I survived a life-changing event too. Lost my feet 2011. But then that inner power in us doesn't get taken away.
Runners, make some noise!
The spirit of Oklahoma will never be taken away, and we will still come, run to remember, and run to challenge ourselves and inspire humanity.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I've never gone to a race that I've been cheered by the spirits of people who are not there, but you see them and feel them as you're running.
And when you're out there and you're feeling a little sluggish or maybe you're hurting a little bit, all you have to do is look around and see your fellow runners and look up and perhaps see one of those 168 names on the banners along the course. And they will give you energy to continue on.
Yeah, thousands of people are coming out to cheer these runners, and it's just a day of celebration here in OKC.
Man, I'm not good at running, but hearing Thunderstruck in the morning, that would fire me up, let me tell you. Over 26,000 people ran in the marathon, and several winners were named today. Among them were the men's marathon winner, Al Meter, who completed his jog at the 26 miles in 2 hours and 26 minutes. And the women's marathon winner, Ashley Carrion, finished in 2 hours and 56 minutes. Congratulations to the both of them. And for more news in the metro, the Oklahoma City Zoo is preparing to say goodbye to their beloved orangutans. The animals are being relocated to a place that works with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Elok, a 25-year-old male, and Nagara, a 31-year-old female, were brought to the zoo as part of a breeding recommendation from the AZA. Unfortunately, the duo didn't click. The Oklahoma City Zoo says, quote, babies could be in both their futures, just not together. Immigration could become a concern for your local law enforcement. Fox 25's Kayla Gaskins reports on a recent mass arrest that happened next. And dozens of people are dead after a port explosion this weekend, the lives lost and how many were injured when we return. Elon Musk told investors he'd be stepping back from government work as Tesla continues to struggle. In tonight's Waste Watch, national correspondent Matt Galka explains what will happen now with the Department of Government Efficiency.
Tesla's earnings were far from electric in the first quarter of 2025. The car company's revenue fell 9% and auto revenue fell 20%. The net income was down 71% year over year. It prompted CEO Elon Musk to tell investors he'd be scaling back his work as the face of the Department of Government Efficiency.
The large slug of work necessary to get the Doge team in place and working in the government to get the financial house in order is mostly done.
Doge's work has led to two things: an ultra-aggressive approach to downsizing government, where the federal workforce and number of agencies have been cut at a dramatic pace, with Musk leading the charge. Doge claims it's saved $160 billion across government so far, but the organization's numbers are frequently disputed. It's also led to huge backlash against Musk and his companies. He's claimed that protests and vandalism at Tesla dealerships around the country were done by paid activists.
This is fundamentally a case of terrorism.
Even Tesla backers believe the reputational damage might be irreversible, and it gave Musk no choice but to step back from government work.
This is really the beginning of the end of how he's going to be with the Trump administration, because the brand damage, we think it's 20% in terms of permanent brand damage.
The Tesla CEO says he'll still be involved with Doge 1 or 2 days a week starting in May.
I'll have to continue doing it for, I think, probably the remainder of the president's term, just to make sure that the waste and fraud that we stop does not come roaring back.
Doge's work will likely continue, with only court cases slowing it down. The New York Times reports there are more than 60 people spread out across federal government trying to carry out the mission of shrinking it. Musk is designated as a special government employee, which comes with a 130-day cap on government work per year. That limit is expected to be hit by the end of May. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
The Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration intensifies, with 2 mass raids and hundreds of arrests in the past few days. Here's Fox 25 national correspondent Kayla Gaskins.
Law enforcement named it Operation Tidal Wave. The 4-day initiative led to the arrest of nearly 800 illegal immigrants in Florida by a joint task force of U.S. Customs and immigration officials and Florida law enforcement.
This was a major success. It was a large-scale operation. And to your point, this is just a preview of what's to come throughout the nation. All of these people are now off of our streets who otherwise have been acting with impunity and terrorizing U.S. communities. Among those arrested were convicted murderers, multiple alleged and suspected gang members, and a Russian wanted by Interpol. Another mass arrest taking place in Colorado, where 114 illegal migrants were taken into custody when the DEA led a multi-agency raid of a nightclub in tandem with local police.
This is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. The club is about an hour away from Aurora, Colorado, where the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua has a significant presence. Meanwhile, the court's starting to push back against Trump's method of booting illegal immigrants out of the country. A federal judge in El Paso ordered the release of 2 Venezuelan nationals held by immigration authorities. The judge ruling the federal government failed to provide enough evidence for them to be classified as alien enemies. The Trump administration has been using the Alien Enemies Act as justification for deportations. The Supreme Court already ruled the government needs to give individuals deemed alien enemies a chance to fight deportation in court. The El Paso judge said the federal government must give detainees 21 days to contest their status. As Donald Trump approaches the 100-day mark of his second administration, a Fox News poll shows his highest approval has to do with the border. 55% of voters approve of how he's handling border security. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio shares some new details from the Trump administration. The politician says the Trump administration will decide this week whether it will continue to seek a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
I think this is going to be a very critical week. This week is going to be a really important week in which we have to make a determination about whether this is an endeavor that we want to continue to be involved in, or if it's time to sort of focus on some other issues that are equally, if not more important in some cases.
Rubio says both Russia and Ukraine will need to make concessions to reach an end to the war. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer believes that America will appear weak if President Trump backs out of these negotiations.
It sends a signal to every dictator in China, in North Korea, in Iran, that if you stand up and bully Trump, you're going to get your way.
Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky met face-to-face this weekend before Pope Francis's funeral in Rome. The White House is describing this meeting as productive. The Israeli military struck a residential neighborhood in the southern suburbs of Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, today. In a statement after the strike, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the military targeted Hezbollah infrastructure, adding the Iran-backed group was storing missiles there. On social media, Lebanon's president condemned the attack, and he urged the U.S. and France to convince Israel not to make any future attacks. The death toll rises from Saturday's powerful explosion at Iran's biggest port. According to state media, 40 people are confirmed dead and 1,200 others injured. This is CCTV footage you're seeing of the moment the fire ignited. It begins as a plume of black smoke billowing out of behind several shipping containers. Then it suddenly grows into an inferno. The exact cause is still unclear. Iran's defense ministry is denying reports that the blast may be linked to the mishandling of solid fuel used for missiles. An investigation is underway to determine the motive behind last night's vehicle attack in Vancouver. Police from British Columbia say a man rammed his SUV through a crowded street festival celebrating Filipino heritage. At least 11 people died in this attack and dozens more are injured. Police say they know the suspected driver and they're confident the attack was not an act of terrorism.
I can now say with confidence that the evidence in this case does not lead us to believe this was an act of terrorism. I can also tell you that the person we have in custody does have a significant history of interactions with police and healthcare professionals related to mental health.
Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney and the country's Conservative Party leader both expressed their condolences and are on Canadians to unite today. This car ramming comes ahead of an election Monday when Canadians will decide whether Carney's Liberal Party maintains the reins or the Conservatives return the power for the first time in nearly a decade. At the center of the election is President Donald Trump, whose tariffs and repeated threats of annexing Canada as the 51st state have rallied voters behind Canada's Liberal Party. Confidential documents that are being blocked from the public could soon be released. Congressman James Comer, the head of the Oversight Committee, explains his plans to get these documents unlocked. Republican Congressman James Comer leads the powerful House Oversight Committee. Cheryl Atkinson with Full Measure spoke with the congressman about his fight to reveal who's blocking the release of formerly secret documents. She also learned how the congressman is actively fighting those trying to dismantle it.
It's not a popular thing when you have to go out and raise money as a member of Congress to be reelected every couple of years to make cuts. So is there pushback behind closed doors from other Republicans who don't want to do some of this?
Oh yeah, I mean we've got some guys that'll never be in a book called Profiles of Courage, if you know what I mean. I mean you've got members of Congress that their number one priority, in my opinion, is self-preservation.
The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform will come to order.
Republican James Comer of Kentucky heads up the House Oversight Committee, the investigative powerhouse of Congress.
Thank you all for being here.
Comer makes it clear that top Trump officials are locked in fierce, epic battles against what they call the Washington, D.C. swamp.
All of these cabinet secretaries, whether it's Brooke Rollins at Ag or Pam Bondi at Department of Justice, they're having to fight a lot of internal battles that really haven't made it into the mainstream media yet.
And you know this because you've talked with them. They're already facing that
I've talked to some of the cabinet secretaries.
A freshly launched Oversight Committee task force is assigned to unmasking holdouts who defied Trump's first-term directives and blocked release of thousands of JFK documents.
That task force is kind of working on very hard behind the scenes to identify which bureaucracies and which bureaucrats are not complying with the president's orders. I heard that 10,000 times over the past 2 years. Well, we can't turn that over. There's an ongoing investigation. We're hearing that with the Epstein files now in this administration.
Beyond just prying open classified files, Comer has the sprawling deep state in his sights, accusing it of casting a shadow over government operations and throwing up roadblocks.
We have a deep state list that we believe these employees need to be deposed at the very least to see, to answer basic questions. Why did you cover this up? Why did you provide this statement? We'll have public hearings. We'll do whatever, but we need to work with the Department of Justice.
Are you waiting for the green light from them, or are you working to schedule hearings on these types of things?
We're waiting for the green light.
And why haven't you gotten it yet?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to do, and Pam Bondi is walking into an agency that's hostile towards her. There's no question about it. So she's having to battle within, and hopefully she'll win that battle, and we can see some accountability.
For more on this story, look up our podcast, Full Measure After Hours. For Full Measure, I'm Cheryl Atkinson.
This is Fox 25 Sports.
Over 600,000 fans attended the three-day NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin over the weekend to watch NFL hopefuls realizing their wildest dreams becoming reality. 257 players heard their names called this weekend, including 4 Oklahoma State Cowboys and 2 Oklahoma Sooners.
Man, I'm pumped, man. I mean, there's no better team. I think, a lot of little anxious, going up into it. But I'm excited, man.
As soon as I got the phone call, one tear just dropped down my eye because it's a moment that you work for your whole life, and for your name to finally be called, and you having all your supporters and people in one place.
I mean, it's a blessing. I grew up watching the draft, and since I was 5, I wanted to be in the NFL and be the best at it, and get there, and being here is surreal, and it's just a blessing. I'm excited to get to work.
You gotta trust and believe. You just got to stick to your gut. And the time came, and it came. God was great the whole time. Put my trust on him, and we was good.
OSU linebacker Nick Martin was the first player drafted among Sooners and Cowboys. Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman went in round 4. OSU's Colin Oliver in round 5, Ollie Gordon in round 6, and Corey Black in round 7. Getting drafted doesn't guarantee success at the next level, and going undrafted doesn't mean the dream is over. Hundreds of undrafted players signed free agent deals looking for their shot to prove they belong. To the Diamond, where OU softball was looking to get a series sweep over their Red River rivals from Texas. Patty Gasso's squad had hot bats to start. Freshman Gabby Garcia's 3-run homer in the second gave OU a 5-0 lead. They would add 3 more in the third, giving Oklahoma a commanding 8-0 lead. But Texas answered with a 6-run 4th inning and added 2 more in the 5th to tie the game. But Isabella Emmerling would drive in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 6th before senior pitcher Sam Landry would close the door and the series sweep for the Sooners. Speaking of sweeps, the Thunder are moving on to the Western Conference semifinals after sweeping the 8-seed Memphis Grizzlies Saturday. OKC took Game 1 with a historic blowout win. Game 2 was a comfortable victory. Game 3, an all-time great comeback, and Game 4 produced a clutch-time victory. So what's next? The best team in the NBA all season will sit back and wait at least a week before playing either the Nuggets or the Clippers.
It could work both ways against us. It could add a little rust, or it could add a little freshness. I think trying to find a balance in between those two is going to be important in this next, however long it is till we wait for the next series.
OKC will meet the winner of the Denver Nuggets versus Los Angeles Clippers series, currently tied at 2 games each. Game 5 in Denver Tuesday night, Game 6 in LA Thursday, and if necessary, Game 7 will be played in Denver on Saturday. I'm Colby Daniels, and that's a look at sports.
Thunder up. Thank you, Colby. Well, mosquito season is here, unfortunately. They're here around all year long, it seems like. A meteorologist from our sister station in San Antonio, Joe DiCarlo, has the tips and tricks on how to avoid these big bites.
Standing water such as this pond behind me are breeding grounds for mosquitoes. We talked with local experts on what you could do to stay safe and prevent mosquito-borne diseases.
More rain always means more mosquitoes.
Molly Keck is an entomologist with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service in San Antonio. She says our mild South Texas weather means we have to deal with mosquitoes year-round, but they're the most active during warm and wet stretches.
So you can get bitten by a mosquito 12 months out of the year, any day of the year. But the warmer it gets, the quicker their life cycle happens.
And while recent rain has been a welcome sight, it could bring more mosquitoes and possibly more mosquito-borne viruses.
So if we continue to get good rain like this, good soaking rain where we have a lot of water sitting and more mosquitoes breeding, then you can predict that there probably will be more West Nile cases than we maybe had in previous years.
The biggest red flag after a mosquito bite would be if you develop a high fever.
Big things we think about with mosquito-borne illnesses is high fevers right after a bite. Tends to be uncommon.
A bite may itch, but scratching it may cause even more issues.
If we scratch something and the skin breaks open, there's always a risk that it can become infected from just the skin breaking open itself. So some people get mosquito bites, itch them a lot, even if it's in their sleep, and then they'll get a skin infection on top of it.
The best thing to do to avoid mosquitoes is to drain any standing water and use insect repellent when outdoors, especially during dusk or dawn.
Poultry companies will not have to limit salmonella bacteria in their products. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is withdrawing a proposed rule making companies keep the poultry off the shelves if the bacterial levels hit a certain threshold. Food safety advocates say thousands of people could get sick from a preventable infection. But the National Chicken Council says the rule would have meant expensive industry regulations with no, quote, meaningful impact on public health. Thousands of Delta employees joined forces in Atlanta to put their strength to the test, and it was all for a good cause. The 16th annual Delta Jet Drag took place Friday at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The goal, to pull a Boeing 757 25 feet. And in case you were wondering, that plane you're seeing weighs 140,000 pounds. Nearly 10,000 people spread across hundreds of teams took part in the event, which raised money for the American Cancer Society. Even NFL legend Tom Brady was there, and he got in on the fun. Delta officials say the event raised at least $1.4 million.
All right, the severe weather outlook, folks, excuse me, from Monday afternoon into Monday night. Yes, we could have severe weather here in Oklahoma, especially Monday evening, but there's going to be an outbreak in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa. The upper Midwest is going to get slammed with most likely several tornadoes that could be strong. And it's all because of an upper level low, which is farther north than it would be if it would impact us. With widespread tornadoes. The farther north these upper lows get, they kind of bring the strong winds with them, if you will. So farther north is where we're going to be seeing the tornado threat for the early part of the week. Don't get me wrong. Right here in Oklahoma, there will be the threat of severe weather, especially Monday evening into Monday night. Now, as far as the storm chances, Tuesday and Wednesday, there'll be widespread rain and storms. We may get through much of the day on Monday without a whole lot of rain or storms. It's really once the sun starts to go down, storms are expected to pop right along I-35. It's a common occurrence this time of year. How about this rainfall forecast? We had that Mosquito story a minute ago. Well, yes, we're going to have more ponding of the water here in our neighborhoods and on the sides of the road. 1 to 2, even 3 inches of rain is the forecast for the next 3 days. It looks like if this forecast holds true, Oklahoma City at Will Rogers could end up having the wettest April on record. We're only less than 3 inches away, so it could happen for us. The excessive rainfall outlook says, yes, we're going to have a chance for flash flooding from late Monday through Tuesday night and even into Wednesday. Areas of southwestern Oklahoma have seen a lot of rain recently, and that gives your chances for flash flooding just a little bit higher. So let's take you through your next weather maker here as we head into Monday morning. Again, during the daytime hours, there'll be a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, but nothing too organized. It's once we get toward late afternoon along this frontal boundary, we start to see storms pop anywhere along that I-35 corridor. Then they'll slide east as they perhaps strengthen into Monday night. And all forms of severe weather are going to be possible. We don't have as much dynamics, as much wind energy here in Oklahoma as we do farther north. So there's still some question as to how much severe weather we are going to get in that Monday night time frame. And then the front will trail behind it into Tuesday morning. This is the Monday and Monday night severe weather outlook for Oklahoma. Notice we're right in the thick of it here in OKC. Winds up to 80, large hail up to baseball size, but that low threat for tornadoes, which is indicated by this graphic here. You've got a very low to low risk for tornadoes across the region, so there'll be perhaps 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, but not 10 or 12, which they're probably going to see farther north in the Minneapolis area. We've got a moderate and very, very enhanced risk, I could say, as far as the tornado threat with all that wind energy with that upper level low for Wednesday. Let's fast forward to Tuesday now. We'll start the day kind of inclement. We've got a front coming through with some showers, thunderstorms, heavy downpours through the day on Tuesday into Tuesday night. Some of them could be on the strong side as well. As a matter of fact, the severe weather outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night, well, it covers many of the same areas, including us right here in OKC. Probably not as intense of an event with winds up to 70 and large hail up to golf ball. That's your Tuesday and Tuesday night severe weather outlook. So let's take a look at it here, folks. We've got several chances for rain and storms for the early part of the week, starting on Monday night, lasting through Wednesday night. Then the chances go down a bit for Thursday, Friday, and then they ramp back up again this weekend.
Thank you, Kevin. Martinelli's is letting people know about a recall involving their iconic apple juice products. Coming up, the reason why you should double check your cupboard and cabinets and make sure no one drinks the item. Next. We're kicking off tonight's consumer section with a consumer alert. Be sure to check your pantry and fridge as Martinelli's has recalled over 7,000 cases of their apple juice. The brand has expressed concerns about toxic substance contamination. The affected apple juice was sold in stores in 10-ounce round glass bottles with a white metal screw top lid. It has a best by date of December 5th, 2026. According to the FDA, the impacted cases might be contaminated with patchoulin, and that's a poisonous substance made by certain molds, which are often found in rotting apples. In total, more than 173,000 bottles have been recalled. The Mauna Loa macadamia nut company is voluntarily recalling some products over allergy concerns. The company is recalling its dark chocolate covered macadamias due to the possible presence of undeclared almonds and cashews. Mauna Loa says consumers who have allergies or severe sensitivity to almonds and cashews run the risk of serious or life-threatening allergic reactions. No illnesses or adverse reactions have been reported to date, though, in connection with this issue. For more information, you can go to fda.gov. While egg prices have started to fall, they're still historically high. New data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows egg prices hit another record in March, with the average cost of a dozen of grade A large eggs totaling $6.23. Fox 25's Shelby Love takes a crack at some easy, cost-effective egg swaps to make in the kitchen.
I just even run out of eggs or don't want to buy them. It's something that I can do really quick.
Registered dietitian Andrea Beck spends a lot of time baking in the kitchen and has found a few egg workarounds in the process.
Is there any of these that you actually found you like better than
Yes.
eggs and recipes?
I would say my favorite one and the most one I use is flaxseed. This is an easy one because it literally just takes 1 tablespoon of the ground flaxseed, and I am adding it to 3 tablespoons of water. So I already have the water in here. And so you mix it up just a little bit until it's all dissolved. And you're gonna let it sit there for 5 minutes. It's gonna kind of make a gel form and congeal. And that is really helpful. You wanna give itself the time to let it form because then that's what helps the recipe bind.
Here's a look at some banana bread Andrea made using flaxseed. Looks good, and so does the price difference. The latest prices from Walmart shows one egg calculates to 53 cents versus 5 cents using the flaxseed alternative.
The second option is applesauce, which is also handy, especially if you have kids at home.
Andrea says to make sure you buy the unsweetened applesauce and notes it's a tasty way to sneak in some extra fiber. The egg alternative will cost about the same as flaxseed, about 5 cents. The last egg alternative is a banana.
It takes 1/4 of a cup per egg. So for every egg you would have and call for, then you would use 1/4 of a cup. And so you want to mash it really well, so then that way you don't necessarily have the bites of banana and when you take a bite of something. And this would also add a little bit of sweetness to it. But then you're also getting a little bit of potassium and some fiber and a lower fat product as well. And so you're saving money and adding in some more vitamins.
Healthier for you and your wallet. Half a banana roughly calculates to 14 cents. With love.
Some good tips right there. Andrea says any of the alternatives you pick shouldn't affect your baking time. And if you're making a more savory recipe, stick to flaxseed. But if you need your recipe a little sweeter, use banana or applesauce. In Tennessee, one beauty shop owner is letting people know about how tariffs are impacting her. CEO Chasanov Moore owns Pink Noir Beauty Supply and Cosmetics. She says tariffs are going to be covered by price changes.
Starting probably in January, we've seen 3 to 4 price increases across the board on our brands. The reality is, as a small business, some of that has to be passed to the consumer.
The beauty supply owner explains this is not only a beauty supply store, but a safe space for those interested in cosmetics. Fans of Joann's stores will be disappointed to learn nearly 1/3 of the fabric and craft retailers' locations will close this week. The remaining stores will shut down next month. The company filed for bankruptcy a little over a year ago. It was Joann's second bankruptcy filing in 11 months. The chain has begun their going out of business sales, and those sales will end at the 255 locations around the country closing this week. The more than 500 remaining stores will shut down next month. The first black leader of the U.S. Department of Labor, former Secretary Alexis Herman, has died. Herman served in the role under former President Bill Clinton from 1997 to 2001. In a statement, current Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Reamer describes Herman as a trailblazer who dedicated her life to strengthening America's workforce. Herman was born in 1947 and spent much of her early political work on desegregation before former President Jimmy Carter nominated her to lead the Women's Bureau at the Labor Department. She was 77 years old. Today is National Tell a Story Day. Each year on April 27th, Americans of all ages are encouraged to share their stories. We're doing it right now. They can range from a childhood memory to a story from your own imagination. To commemorate National Tell a Story Day, many libraries across the country participate by offering special storytelling times for children. A college student in Washington, D.C. is getting his food truck off the ground. Sam Reed from our sister station in Washington, D.C. explains how a young man is chasing his dreams.
If anyone watching this will be graduating from college in a few weeks, this is a story about a student who turned his dreams into reality.
It was surreal. Huge learning experience every step of the way. I'm really grateful more than anything else that he worked with me and took the time on me.
That's how Bun Buds came to be. And that summer he was all in, popping up all over Providence with a cart full of gourmet hot dogs and dumplings.
We just tried to get our name out there. We ran specials. We were playing around with creative toppings.
Then came a trailer. And in June of 2024, his hard work officially paid off.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Having built a Bun Buds Foundation, then came the actual one at 10 Purchase Street in Fall River.
And it took a long time because, we had some structure changes. We had a lot of recipe development to work on. We had to learn how to use a lot of new equipment.
Now open Monday through Saturday, Jake and his Bun Buds business partner Brett are in the kitchen cooking up deliciousness. Their reasonably priced menu prides itself on gourmet hot dogs, dumplings, and bao buns, but their key ingredient, they say, is customer service.
All right, what can I get started for you? Absolutely. And it's nothing too crazy. We're friendly, we want you to have a good time as we're having a good time.
At the age of 23, being a business owner and all of the ups and downs that have come with it has been eye-opening at an earlier age.
As a 23-year-old, sometimes it is a little weird when you're mopping the floors at night, seeing your friends that are out in, Florida or Cabo on vacation with their friends, having, parties because they're working a 9-to-5 job and they've got that free time. But, it's important to keep your eye on the bigger picture. Gentlemen, you like bags for these?
And with that sacrifice comes success, because after all, Jake knows if you love what you do, it's well worth it.
Because even with all the stress and all the chaos of it, I got to tell myself, hey, you're doing this, and that's something I'm really proud of. I'm really, really proud of it.
Showing you something good. I'm Sam Reed.
All right, folks, you're not going to believe this. A 66-year-old woman called our sister station to tell them about her raccoon infestation problem. And yes, you did hear that right. The nocturnal mammal has caused quite the commotion at her house. Here's a closer look from Washington, D.C.
Tell me about the toll living here with the sounds, with the raccoons.
I'm going crazy, make me seem like I'm going crazy, losing my mind. If I go to sleep, I'm scared they gonna come out or they keep doing this at the wall.
This is what 66-year-old Linda Chaplin hears behind her walls. And this is what she sees. Take a look at this. A raccoon poking its head out of her bathroom ceiling. That's where the nose was coming through?
Yes.
And they still try to push that board down?
Yeah.
Linda has reached out to the property manager.
I even asked them, could they spend the night in here? They ran out the door.
A housing department email to Linda says it's investigating the raccoons, but we know they're there. While Linda and I were talking,
ain't nothing they can do because they're in. Oh. Well, the raccoon done knocked my clock down. I'm getting out of this house. I ain't coming back to the mall. I'm tired of getting my son to sleep in here with me. I have to get my people to come up here and sleep with me. I can't sleep in here tonight.
oh my gosh.
I can't sleep in here tonight. Girl.
I found that the property owner, Southeast Washington Development Associates 2 LP, have collected 145 violations since December and tens of thousands of dollars in fines.
They don't care about nothing long as they getting their rent. If I stop paying rent, they ready to send me to court or put me out. And then where I'm gonna be homeless.
Wow. She reached out to the property owner. I'd be like more than reaching out if that was happening. I can't believe that story. Hopefully it has a happy ending. All right, we've got storm chances coming at us starting Monday, late afternoon through Monday night. And as we look ahead to Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to stay stormy. This week we could see some severe weather, wind and hail, some flooding. An isolated tornado can't be ruled out. Sounds like spring in Oklahoma.
Kevin, I'm with you. I'll be losing my mind, my friend. That does it for us. Thanks for watching and have a great night.